Jeannie Burlsworth, Secure Arkansas, and we are the immigration group that carried the ballot initiative that got 57,000 signatures here in the state of Arkansas, and the public did not want to be liable to have to subsidize illegal aliens. And I know the system is broken. It's a travesty upon the American public. It's a travesty upon the taxpayer. But I want to say there's going to be calamities in all of this. When the children turn 18, they are adult, considered somewhat adult at that age. I mean, our boys goes off to fight in wars at that age. So my point is the taxpayer does not want to subsidize from the cradle to the grave. I mean, we've got institutions that are being broken. Our welfare system, our education system is being broken because of this travesty that's been forced upon the public. Now, one thing I want to add here about this this DREAM Act, because Senate finally caved in by rejecting the DREAM Act there, and the measure failed to generate enough support to even bring about a formal debate. But the Rasmussen report, they did a telephone survey that found that 22% of voters support the proposal introduced by Senator Dick Durbin, and it talked about the DREAM Act that would give legal status to children of illegal aliens who complete 2 years of college or military service. But here's the opposition. Here's what the opposition said in this Rasmussen report. It was a concern that the passage of the bill would encourage more illegal immigration in the future, and this view is held by 68% of the national voters. The Rasmussen report's national telephone survey found that 15% disagree and 17% are not sure. So with this said, it turned out to be 76% of the Republicans, 76% of unqualified voters, and 55% of Democrats believe that the passage of the DREAM Act would encourage more illegal immigration in the future. So that's a problem. That's a problem with that. And we did take a poll, and we've taken several TV polls here, but the one that we took, I think it was back in the summertime, it was the KAIT poll, and 95% of the public did not want to allow government benefits. And that it did include in-state college tuition, which is subsidized by the Arkansas taxpayers. And Arkansans can't afford and don't want to have to subsidize the illegals' college tuition. Out-of-state students don't get in-state tuition, so why should children of illegal aliens get in-state tuition?
Well,
And
let me stop you here just
okay.
a moment. I thought specifically our bill that we're dealing with here is talking about undocumented aliens, not illegal aliens.
But see, they have
apples and
documents.
oranges here.
Well, I personally, they have documents, and really, there's no legal term that I know of. It is illegal alien. So I don't know a legal term of undocumented. But Governor Beebe, quoting him, January 25th, 2009, he said, "We can't afford to give scholarships and in-state tuition to every child of every American citizen in the other 49 states. Since you can't do that, you can't do that with illegal aliens either. It's real simple." And that's what Beebe said. And I want to bring up one last and final point. That Reuters news service, it was a 3-judge panel of California Court of Appeals, unanimously ruled Monday, September 15, 2008, that a California law intended to permit illegal aliens to attend public colleges and universities at in-state tuition rates is unconstitutional because it conflicts with federal law and violates both the Equal Protection Clause and Privileges and Immunity Clause of the Constitution. And that was the 1996 Immigration Act that states an alien who is not lawfully present in the United States shall not be eligible on the basis of residence within a state.
All right, would you take a question? Senator Salmon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to point out that boys and girls, when you're 18,
Yes,
we've got a lot of girls. What in this bill, have you read this bill?
Yes, but to tell you the truth, I really would have liked to have read it just right before I came into the committee, but I've been kind of overbooked today.
Well, you probably should have, because there's nothing in this bill that gives a scholarship.
No, I'm just quoting Beebe. It is in-state tuition.
Well,
but
we're not talking about what Beebe said, we're talking about this bill. And there's nothing in it that says we're going to subsidize subsidize anybody's
But
education.
the state funds 58%, don't they, of in-state tuition?
Not that I know of. They don't for my kids.
I think there's something about not, well, that's what I'm saying. This
No,
bill.
there's nothing in this bill that would subsidize their education. It just allows them to pay in-state tuition like the other kids that have graduated from college, from high school here.
Okay, well, according to this 1996 Immigration
And
Act.
this is 2009, and this is the bill we're talking about.
Yes, but here it says that illegal aliens as residents for the purpose of attending public colleges and universities at taxpayer-subsidized tuition rates does and was intended to benefit illegal aliens, a benefit that the state fails to provide to U.S. citizens from other states.
What state are you talking about?
California.
Okay, well, this is Arkansas, and this says nothing about subsidy.
Well,
Thank you.
you don't, okay.
You know, their paper route. And I look at little Tommy and Susie and I say, keep up the good work. The sky's the limit. There's nothing you cannot do. I mean, you just keep working hard, you'll be able to go to college, you'll be able to just contribute back. You know, we want you to succeed. But that third child's name was Juan. Now I ask you, are you going to look at him and tell him the same thing? Or would you say, drop out of school, become a drug addict or a drug pusher, become a bane on our society? What would you tell him?
Well, in my opinion, when you take a look at the state of California and
This was in my third grade class in Crossett, Arkansas.
But, okay, I understand, but it's not, this is not going to work, and education is not going to solve the immigration problem. It's just not going to do it. It didn't in California, and it's not going to solve it here for Arkansas. And I want to point out the fact that the taxpayer is outraged. They're like, when does this stop? I mean, when do we finally put a cap on it?
But what would you tell Juan?
You know, it's a sad state. It's just it's the problem that Congress has, like the woman previously testified. This is a problem. It's a sad problem. But I can assure you, this is not going to solve the problem. And what it's going to do is outrage the taxpayer even more. This in-state college tuition thing has been brought up before. It's been defeated before. Not in the Senate, but you brought it up as the legislature.
Well, I'm glad you have no answer for what you tell Juan, because I don't have one either.
Well,
Senator Hendren?
Well, I think I'd tell Juan that we're a nation of laws, and I'd say, Juan, can I help you in your studies or whatever it may be? And with regard to education, I've been a teacher in Arkansas in public schools, John Brown University, and the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. And so I've been in education a little bit, not all the time, but certainly a little bit. So I appreciate something. We talked about subsidize and about what it costs. And I want to tell you, these kids in this state don't know what's going on at these colleges. And Earhart's I see over here, is he gone? No, he's still here. I've got a couple of grandsons. One's at the academy, just recently graduated. By the way, thank you taxpayers for that, because we pay for it to the tune of $750,000 a year. But I might say something else. When those kids at the academy, they do it in 4 years of the degree in aeronautical engineering, what have you. But the other one is a scholarship student at Fayetteville, University of Arkansas. And we were having a discussion like this one afternoon with my smart aleck grandsons. And they said, well, look, I said, you ought to appreciate your scholarship and what the state's doing for you. Oh, we're paying it all ourselves, so we're doing this. I said, do you young men realize that the state of Arkansas subsidizes higher ed in this state, which is not required by this Constitution, as far as I know, and I think Broadway would agree with that. But I said, do you realize that the taxpayers put money in so you can go to Fayetteville and have these classes? Oh, no. Now, these are straight A students, and they didn't understand that. So I called down here, and that's what, it's my understanding, it's about $6,000 a head. And they gave me some big numbers about it. But I tell you what, we just need to we need to get all the information. But this is what makes this so hard. It is $6,000 a head, or if there's somebody, if that's wrong, then I'd like to know that it's wrong. Plus all the other stuff that we help do. That's what makes this so tough for Juan and for you. But I want to thank you for coming.